Women.
Men. It's the men for me.
Do you want to elaborate as to why you feel like wholesome, God-fearing Christian men are responsible
Well,
for
first
the
of
downfall?
all, a lot of men in 2021 are not fearful of God. So that's the first part to it. But I just feel like men don't want to be men anymore. I feel like, in my experience, like, men want to act like women these days. They want a woman to pursue them. They are very laid back in situations, and I just feel like men don't want to lead anymore. And as much as like men say, "Oh, women don't let men be men," men don't want to be men anymore. I feel like they're so comfortable in what's been going on lately that like they just kind of sit back and let women take control. And I'm like, no, a man's supposed to be a man, and they're not being men.
Women. 10 out of 10.
Women. Really?
Women are more responsible for failed relationships in 2021.
And why do you feel like that?
Because, okay, I'm gonna ask you this. I'm gonna start it off with a question. All right,
Okay.
let me go and warm up a little bit. When a man DMs you, what makes you determine whether you respond or you don't respond?
I'll be honest with you, I don't take anyone serious that slides into my DMs. Like, that's not where I'm looking for a relationship from. Like, that's not the like mindset I have. So if I respond to a DM, it's based on like what you say to me, and it's on a friendly manner. I don't go based on relationships from Instagram.
So you've never built a relationship with somebody through messaging. That could be DM on Instagram. It could be SMM. What is it? MSM on
A relationship, never.
You've never.
All my relationships, I have met that person like out and about.
Basically, what I'm trying to get at is women look for the wrong things in men, and that's what leads them to a lot of the problems that they have in relationships.
Are you sure that's not women looking for the wrong things in men, or men are looking for the wrong things? Because let me ask you this. Let's turn that question around. What made you DM that woman?
What she look like?
I think men have failed us in 2021. And the only reason why I say that because I'll come from experience. One of my biggest issues I've had with men is communication, and y'all lack it. Y'all say y'all are so open to discussing certain things, but when you're up against it, you don't know how to act, or whatever you're saying is about to contradict how you really feel. And it's just, that's where I feel like y'all are really lacking at. And like, we can't move forward if we can't even get communication right. What else is there to talk about if I can't talk to you?
Women are totally responsible. Why? Because y'all dictate almost majority of what happens, like prior to the relationship. Y'all like to pick men that you know you shouldn't be dating. You know he's a asshole. You know he's a serial cheater. You know he got 2-3 kids. He's not consistent with you, but you waste 6 months, a year on something, hoping that he could be something that you want him to be. And that is the problem in most cases. Y'all see it. Y'all just choose to ignore the red flags.
I mean, we can say the same thing for y'all. Like, I mean, y'all date the same woman over and over and over, and then finally you marry something that you feel like it's different, but it's still the same woman. You know what I mean? So I can't agree with you there. How I feel like, okay, so you're saying that we dictate everything. However, when you meet a woman, right, when you approach her, do you not have a game plan? Like how to keep this woman's attention and stuff like that? Do you not discuss this within yourself? Like, how am I going to keep the attention of this woman?
Depend on my mindset.
Dates, conversation.
Depend on my mindset. How did I meet you? I mean, if I met you on some genuine stuff, then yeah. But you got women that's Instagram thoughts. You got women that's showing their ass all the time. Let's be honest. A lot of women are showing their ass today on social media. That's making it easy for men. So that's what I want. I don't want no relationship. I want the physical pleasure that I'm going to get because that's what you advertising. So that's been too easy today, way too easy. And there's no way a man can have sex if a woman doesn't allow him to. So the price of the brick did not go up.
Oh, that should be easy, man. That's women.
You know what's crazy?
Women all day. Can I finish?
Oh, my bad.
I didn't get a chance to say why. It's women all day, man. And the reason why is because women feel the need to be right. They feel like they have to be right. And how we measure that? Over talking. Can't tell them nothing. All the sign language, the attitude, all the masculine energy. It's just a whole lot. It's just too much. Men tired of it. Men fed up. They don't want to deal with that shit. What you got to say?
Okay, I can talk now?
Yeah, you can talk. Go ahead.
You know, I'm going to agree with you. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to have to take a little left. I do agree that women are responsible for the downfall of relationships. And this is why I feel like we give men way too much grace.
we give y'all way too much grace. I feel like in the beginning of relationships, y'all show us who y'all are, and we want y'all to prove us wrong so bad that even like we stay through y'all cheating on us. We stay through y'all saying, oh, I'm not ready for a relationship. Let's just stay low and build. We stay through y'all being like, oh, I'm just trying to stack my money up right now. We stay through so much. And I feel like if women treated relationships the same way that men treated relationships, I feel like they'd be a lot more successful. But men are now used to the way that women treat relationships, that grace has turned into leeway for y'all because y'all expect that now. And now I feel like when women say, I'm not gonna put up with that, now we in the wrong. So I feel like if we as women start putting our foot down more, then maybe relationships be a lot more successful. So I do feel like it's women a little bit.
When you said men don't want to be men anymore, men expect women to pursue them. Are we talking about the average man or are we talking about the top 5%?
Average man.
I will highly disagree. And because, again, just stat that was thrown out so eloquently earlier, most men will be virgins by the time they're 30. 30% of men will be virgins by the time they're 30. So men don't have as many options as women think they do. Now, the men that y'all want have a different set of options than most men. And I think that y'all kind of close in on that specific man and then hold all men accountable for what that subset does. And I feel like that's wrong. Because if we talking about the average man, most men are going to cold approach you. They're going to come up to you, hey, how you doing, da, da, da. But the problem is that's not quite the man you want. You want a man that's, okay, just, typically, I ain't going to use you for example because, we just met today. But most women, if you ask them to describe their perfect man, right, they're going to say, okay, I need somebody making 80 plus up. I need somebody that got his own car. I need somebody that's handsome, 6 feet tall, dark skin, light skin, whatever, regardless. But they're going to describe a man that's in that 1%, right? Mm-hmm. So when she's approaching that man, sure, he's going to expect women to approach him because, let's just be honest, most women do approach him, right? But if we talking about the average man who doesn't quite, he's 5'9", 240 pounds, he make 40,000, 42,000 is what the average for men I think is. He's typically not going to wait for women to approach him because women are just not approaching him, if we're going to be honest.
Yeah, so like men, y'all base that DM on what she looks like, and y'all have no idea like what she has in her head, what she has going for herself. So you're telling me that women go based on the wrong things, but you're going based on nothing but physical. How is that not the wrong?
Well, men are visual creatures. And I think where women fail, especially in 2021, is women try to be the same as men. I think at first it was about equality. Now women want to be the same as men. But nature has a different role in that.
So men are allowed to be physically attracted to a woman. Women are not allowed to be physically attracted to a man?
You are, but if you go for a man that's physically attractive, then you're looking for the wrong things. Don't you want a protector and a provider?
So you just said it yourself. If you go for him that's physically attractive, you're going after the wrong things. But then you turn around and said the question was, women are the reason why relationships are failing in 2021. You clearly just told me men are physical. When you go after physical, you're going after the wrong thing. So how are men not the issue?
Well, men and women are different. You got to understand that. Off the rip.
So
and I know that's controversial. You can't even say that nowadays.
You can't. Because how are men and women different? We were both born the same way. We both have the same mind. We both have the same opportunities. So how are we different?
You give birth, don't you?
That's the only thing.
That's a pretty big difference when you're talking about dating based on attraction, especially when women have the pick of the litter. See, men have to deal with what we can get. Women have the pick of the litter, and you get to choose the men that you have.
There are more women on this earth than there are men, so therefore men have the pick of the litter. You can walk into a room and you can choose from 10 women. Women, we have to settle. We have to pick and choose what we decide we're going to deal with and what we're not going to deal with because there are not enough men out here that are readily available.
You're saying that women, I'm trying to think what you just said because I'm like, you said a lot.
I know.
Don't do that. But you said a lot. But you're saying that you're dictating like the seriousness of a woman based on like what you're seeing on social media and stuff like that. At the end of the day,
she's doing it to herself.
Wait a minute, but that's social media. You have not taken the chance to get to know me. At the end of the day, not every woman is on social media shaking that ass. There are some people that's on social media to be on social media. So you're assuming who someone is without actually getting to know them.
I'm going based off of what she presented to the world.
But what did she actually present to you?
What you mean? It doesn't matter what she presented to me. To the world, she already showed herself. So what do you have to prove to me? I'm going off what you showed the world.
Every girl that you talk to shows their ass on Instagram. Is that what you're saying?
Hell no, I didn't say that. I said there are a lot of women on social media that show their ass on social media.
Okay, so let's speak to, so what I'm saying, speak to your situation, but you're not experiencing that. So why are you speaking towards? That's something about men as well. Y'all be speaking and feeling traumas that y'all even haven't ever experienced in your life.
You don't have to experience it. You can see it. You watch a lot of scary movies all the time. You watch crime shows. You didn't experience those crimes.
Look how you over here telling me about something that you haven't even experienced. So let's talk about your experience.
I've experienced plenty of things, but I'm telling you, but it is what it is.
Gotcha.
Am I lying about women showing their ass on social media?
But what does that have to do with what does what you're seeing on social media have to do with that person? Why are you allowing it to have so much weight than actually, shooting a shot, starting a conversation, and getting to organically know somebody?
Why?
Instead of using social media to judge that.
Why does the woman put so much weight into social media?
Okay. But you don't think you're putting weight in, like you're judging something off of it.
I'm
You're really paying attention to social media, and that's
your resume.
Weighing in on your decision.
That's your resume. That is what you put online can stay on there forever.
You know what? I was kind of following you a little bit, but then I feel like you start putting the blame right back on men. It's women all day, and the right type of man ain't gonna deal with that bullshit. So it don't even matter if you got your shit together or not. It's a certain way that you got to step to a man.
When you say bullshit, what do you mean?
What do you mean?
You said the man's not gonna deal with that bullshit. What bullshit are you talking about?
I'm just saying, like, just all the extra, the attitude, how she carry herself, if she's not willing to submit. It's just a whole host of things that women have to get together before they even consider entering a relationship.
So you think the majority of women, when they're in relationships, they're not submissive and they have a lot of attitude? Like, and I'm not talking about talking or just dating, because I feel like the main reason that men have a lot of issues is because y'all don't date women that like you. I feel like when you actually date a woman that like you, these problems don't really exist. But you're saying that when you date a woman who actually likes you, you have issues with attitude and submission.
No, I'm not saying me.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is that based off.
So you're speaking on somebody else's experience?
No, I'm speaking about most of the men that I coach, most of the men that I speak with.
Okay.
What I'm seeing and what I'm hearing is that most men, if they are focusing on their purpose and they in their bag, the woman has to prove herself. She has to be the one to actually like step to him and trying to compete in order to get in his circle. So, like most men most high value men that's on their purpose, like they don't even see that bullshit. They really don't. What you laughing at? What's so funny?
As soon as I heard high value men, I was like, oh, I see where this is going. Because this is giving Kevin Samuels. Sorry. That word is so triggering for me. Okay, so you said that women have to prove themselves to men.
Okay, so you triggered?
I'm not triggered. I'm just saying, am I?
Well, I'm just looking at your body language.
I look triggered?
I mean, you got a little bit loud. A little bit slightly. The tone went up a little bit. You started doing all the gestures and stuff
you see
like
what's talking
that.
about? That's that Kevin Samuels.
I seen like the flick of the hair a little bit.
He's trying to gaslight me. It's not going to work.
No, I'm just.
But we're going to get back to the conversation.
Okay.
Not every woman is going after a man that's a certain height, looks a certain way, makes a certain figure. At the end of the day, I feel like a lot of women just want a man who's going to be faithful and treat them right. While all that other stuff does play a role in all of that, at the end of the day, like, we have to be realistic in that sense that, like, sometimes you kind of have to settle in a sense.
Oh, yeah. I'm definitely need you to elaborate on this. Please elaborate.
No, I feel like I can say this is everything that I want, but I feel like as you date and as you go through life, you realize, okay, everything that I want on my checklist is not necessarily realistic to me. So to me, like, you might not meet a guy today who's making six figures, but at the end of the day, if you vibe with him and he has a drive about him, why would I not want to date him? Because eventually he might be at six figures. So I feel like to an extent, like, it's easy to say like, oh, women go after this, women go after that, but it's just like, it kind of depends because that's not for everybody.
So do you think men have more options than women?
Way more.
So if you text every man in your phone right now and you say you want to smash tonight, what's your success rate on that?
100%.
Okay, now ask me the same question.
That's different, though.
It depends on how you look. That's what I would answer to, and if you ask for my response on that. So what I'm basically trying to say is women have the sexual selection, so you get to choose who you want to be involved with.
Men are easy. That's the only reason why I can say 100%. Like, the thing is, I feel like women are not as easy to get with than as men are. And it is what it is. Like, men can be in an entire relationship, and you can tell them, hey, I want to fuck you tonight. And they will jump on that. And they will forget what they have at home, but I feel like women think a little bit more into that before they make that decision.
Okay, basically what I'm trying to get at is this. If you want a man that can protect and provide for you because that's a male's role, why are you judging who you want to be with based on appearance.
Because you have to be sexually and physically attracted to a person. I feel like why do we have to accept the bare minimum? But for men, y'all, we have to come with 100%. We have to check off every box. But as women, we have to be like, you know what? He provides. He's loyal, so therefore he doesn't have to be physically attractive.
What boxes are y'all checking off? Let me know what you.
We check off everything. We are smart.
Okay.
We provide. We're good wives. We're good mothers. We come from good homes. We can cook. We can clean. We're good in bed. Like everything that we have to mount up to, we do. And I feel like as women, unfortunately, we have to settle.
Men, y'all are not being realistic then.
Why not?
Because social media is fake. So you're allowing social media to weigh in on a decision on somebody. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
so
it
if
just
I
doesn't
posted,
make sense.
if a man posted himself naked repeatedly on social media, are you saying that you would bypass what he repeatedly shows and give that man a chance?
I'm not into that. So no, I'm gonna speak for I'm not into that. So no, I'm not.
But he's posting himself naked.
Okay, cool.
He's showing himself.
I'm not into that, but I'm just saying that. So if you see, okay, I get it. If you meet a girl, let's give this situation. You meet a girl out, right? And like y'all exchange numbers and later on the night y'all exchange Instagram, you know what I'm saying? Are you telling me that you're really like going through every picture and just like
I'm gonna do a quick browse if she's giving me her social media
image of her that you
absolutely.
think okay.
Because she created that for herself.
Okay.
Like if there's a man that's doing drugs and always posting money, what are you going to assume about him? You're not going to think about his character. You're going to think this man is flashy. All they trying to do is sell drugs, or he just flashing his money. He just showing his cars, whatever. That's what you're going to assume with them because that's what they posted. If I'm always posting I'm working, if I'm posting that I have a business here, a business there, you're going to be like, that man is on his stuff. You don't even have to know me. It could be on the Explore page. You see somebody making their money grow. They could be investing or something like that. And it's all their videos.
But
You're going to assume, that's what you're going to assume about that person.
I get it, but then there's some people that look like they're making their money grow and like they're just in a room making their money grow on social media, making it look like their money's growing.
That's fine.
Is what I'm saying.
But that's different than showing your ass.
Okay.
You are like, that's bringing down your value. Just like if a man was just posting guns and stuff like that, like technically on the market for you, or any woman, you know what I'm saying? A man posting just guns all over social media and stuff, you're not going to really take that man serious. You're not going to really think like, okay, that's somebody I want to be with. You just naturally, you're not. That's just what it is. So men operate from that same mind frame.
Who's to blame for failed relationships? Honestly, I can't blame men. I mean, because what? I can say, oh, men don't take relationships seriously. I can say men do whatever, da-da-da-da. But at the end of the day, I cannot truly say that women leave relationships because of these things. That's not the reason. I feel like the reason why failed relationships actually happen is because there's become a pattern of women staying through these things. Because if you think about it, if you ask most women, right, what they gonna say? Niggas ain't shit, all niggas cheat. Even men now will tell you, you're not gonna find a nigga that's not gonna cheat on you because they've let us feed into that narrative so long that we believe that now. So I feel like if as women we say, no, I'm gonna find a nigga that's not gonna cheat on me, then when a nigga does cheat on you, you gonna leave. And then you're going to find a nigga that doesn't. But now I feel like women are so shook and so cornered into that narrative that when a nigga does cheat on her, she's like, well, he does this, that, and the other. We could work through this. You know? And I feel like if we as women stop thinking like that, then maybe we'd actually, I don't want to say I don't want to even sound like a pick me on this, but I'm saying like, I do feel like we need to stop giving niggas grace. I'm not going to lie. I mean, in a marriage is different, but in relationships, no.
If we're going to be honest, the average woman typically picks toxicity in their younger age. Right? Because again, this is a highly desired man. Like I use the example all the time. I was reading a book called Growth Hacker, something like that, and they were discussing, like, say for instance, you have an iTunes, right? And there's 10 songs in this iTunes, and you don't know the artists, you don't know the name of the songs. All you know is which song is played the most, right? So the top song is played, say, 500 times. Bottom song is played 4 times. Everything else falls kind of in between there. When you log into iTunes, your first instinct is going to be, okay, this was listened to the most. Let me go check that out, right? That's just human instinct for most people, right? I feel like the same thing goes in the dating market, right? You have women that, again, they want a highly desirable man. he may not even have to have money, if we're going to be honest, but younger women typically go for just a highly desirable guy. He's making such and such amount of money, or he just has status, and he's used to dating bad women or whatever the case may be, and she's curious as to why he's able to continuously pull this caliber of woman, and it would kind of validate her if he was to mess with her. So that's the mindset for most younger women.
I'm going to take it in the order that you said, because when you ask a question off the top, usually people respond with what's off the top.
Okay.
Right? Your first things that you listed had nothing to do with what men want in women.
So what do y'all want?
And that's the problem. We want a feminine woman that wants to be fit, that wants to take care of the small inconveniences in our lives and reciprocate the value. So if I go, the inconveniences in my life. So for me, for example, I go to work every single day. My wife gets to sleep in if she wants to. I have a trip to Florida in 10 days. She's already booked the trip. She's already booked the flight. She's already taken care of the Airbnbs. I don't have to worry about that. When I sit down, she brings me a warm plate. That's something that I look for in a woman. I don't care about if a woman can provide. But why would a man care about if a woman can provide?
Do you feel like your household is the typical household that we see now in 2021? Are we now in a atmosphere where it's both women and men bringing things to the table as far as providing for a household? You say your wife gets to sleep in.
Yeah.
Okay, that's really good.
Yeah.
But that's not typical.
That's because my wife selected me based on my drive and not my appearance. She's seen the vision, she's seen where I wanted to go, and she helped me get to that position.
So whenever women do that, why do we get called gold diggers? Do you feel like your wife was a gold digger because she looked at your drive, she looked at your ambition, she looked at what you could do for her financially?
My wife was with me since I was 15, so that in particular, I'm gonna give you that, because that's not the typical situation. What I'm trying to get at, if a woman is counted a gold digger if the man already is solidified, and that's what women want in 2021, and that's why it don't work out. Y'all try to go for men that are already solidified, that look a certain kind of way, and then when it don't work out, y'all play dumb.
When we're dating you, we want it to be just us. We want it to be exclusive. We don't want you showing your body all over social media. Like, why would I want somebody, like, that means thousands of men have been able to see your body.
Okay.
And it's going to stay there unless you delete it.
So say if, you don't allow that, to blur your vision about the person, you actually give this person a chance. And with the knowing you, they finally kind of, start dialing back on social media, what they show and stuff like that. They start, not saying like, hiding themselves, but they just really try to like live a kind of private life now. Like not everything needs to be on social media. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. You wouldn't wait around for that. You're automatically just going to cut somebody out just because how they presented themselves on Instagram.
Her personality would have to be amazing for me to do that.
Okay.
Because you got to think about this. You've already laid down the foundation for the most part. So I take you out to a nice restaurant or I take you to a club and you done been posting yourself naked and I walk in with you. Everybody like, oh, that's that girl from Instagram. Da, da, da. How you think I'm gonna feel about that walking in?
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? Now, that makes men uncomfortable. It doesn't make us feel like secure because, just like women, you want your man to be a king. Like you want to be proud of him whenever y'all walking in together. So it just comes to the same thing. And that's why, that's one of the biggest things I feel right now in relationships is social media. Social media is it's tearing us apart. It really is. And then if a man voices himself and say, hey, baby, I think those clothes you wearing are just a little bit too revealing. That makes me uncomfortable. What's she going to say? Oh, so you going to tell me how to dress and da-da-da? Like, that means you insecure and...
Y'all haven't built a positive communication style.
I'm going to add to that real quick. I heard you use the word I feel a lot. That's what you kept saying, I feel. And basically when you start speaking like that, you're speaking off emotions. If women will focus more on themselves and have themselves together, they wouldn't experience the things that they're doing. They wouldn't. So I think you're absolutely right that women need to focus on themselves and they wouldn't be in these situations.
What's the situations?
What's the situation? Okay, you want to give you an example?
Yeah, I'm asking you to clarify what you said. Because you said if women focused on themselves, they wouldn't be in situations.
You said that women are basically dealing with all this bullshit. They stand into relationships so long, and if they was focused on the right things, then they wouldn't be in those situations.
No, that's not what I said. I didn't say they was focused on the right things. I said...
No, I'm saying that.
Okay, so what's the right things? The
right things is just resting in their femininity, making sure that they are choosing the right man to submit to. So if they focus more on themselves instead of focusing outside of the relationship, instead of focusing like on trying to get the bag from the man, trying to do it's just a whole lot of things that they focus on instead of focusing on themselves.
As you get older, that don't mean shit. I don't care
Right.
how popular you are, how good you look. Looks don't necessarily do it off of me. Like
Right.
I need to see you as a whole entire package.
Mm-hmm.
So how you look or what I think you may attract, like that's not attractive to me. Like I'm looking for what I want. I don't give a fuck how pop you look to this person or what this person might think about you, how much money you make. I'm looking for stuff that I personally want.
But you know what the issue with that is, right?
What?
When you said when you get older, typically when you get older, mileage has increased. Kids have increased. Your weight has increased. So you kind of fell out of your prime a bit. When you were in your prime, you were targeting toxicity. And we're not talking about you. We're talking about the average woman. So most women, when they get older, they'll start realizing, okay, this toxic dude that I've been chasing forever is not good for me. Like I done experienced it. He's cheating all around, you know what I'm saying? He's making me feel like nothing and all this. You know what? I'm going to go try to pursue the man that's actually good for me. But by that time, you done had a kid with this toxic man. Or you done, been stressed out to where you done gained weight. So you're not in your prime no more. And that's typically how it goes. So now you are doing the good man a disservice because they're not getting you at your prime. They're getting you on the clearance rack. And that's what I feel like the problem is.
Look at Brittany Renner. PJ Washington, she dealing with PJ Washington. Oh, he told me this, he told me that. That don't matter. Did he put a ring on that finger? We judge character based off action. We judge characters.
They were married.
We judge character based on actions.
They were married, so I'm confused.
PJ Washington and Brittany Renner was married?
Yes.
Oh shit, I fucked that up then. But you looking at like situations like Sierra and Future. Look at their situation. You dealing with a man that's been around the block. He got kids. He ain't been taking care of his kids. And now you want to lay up with him. And this ain't even something that's celebrity. Only reason I use celebrities is because we all know them people. Mm-hmm. I can go to the hood right now and show you hella relationships that's messed up because it's a dude that's a crackhead. He got 3 or 4 baby mamas. He ain't doing nothing with his life. But because he look a certain way, all these women want to lay up with him and date him based on potential. But when you're talking about potential, are you talking about Will Smith before he became Will Smith? Because that's potential. Are you talking about Barack Obama when Michelle Obama held him down through law school? Because that's potential. Mm-hmm. But are you talking about a dude that's just sexually attractive that ain't doing nothing with his life and you hoping that he get it together one day while he living off of your refund check?
I feel like that's easier said than done. Like you said, you want women to go. You're telling me women should date based off potential, but as soon as we do that, we get called every negative name in the book. If we look at a man and say, hey, he has a good job, he can financially provide for me, he might not be the best looking, but I look good, we automatically get labeled a gold digger. But you're telling me that's what we should be going after. But you're also saying that, look at Brittany Renner. She went after a guy that could financially provide for her. He might not have been the best guy, but she was. Would you consider Brittany a gold digger?
I would consider her an opportunist. For sure, and I think that her resume shows that, and I think that that's why she's catching the flack. She's catching the flack because she promoted herself and branded herself as a woman that would go after men for a check.
Why is it so hard to plan a date or plan an outing for someone you're interested in? Why is it you're kind of, hold on, why are y'all always kind of, not saying it doesn't apply to you, but I'm just saying, why are y'all always kind of waiting for us to lead in creating a dating atmosphere? How come y'all can't take the lead on that? Why do y'all always need suggestions oh, what do you want to do? And then we don't do it because you realize that's not what you want to do.
That was a few. Okay, one, the main thing is he's not really into you like that, because if he was into you, then he would make those steps. He would listen to what you're saying, especially if you're saying over and over, hey, baby, I really would like to be taken to this nice restaurant. I've seen it on TikTok or whatever. I want to go there. It's been a month, and you brought it up 2 times. He's going to take that into account, and then he's going to take you. Now, a man who doesn't care is going to let that shit fly by and hope you forget about it and take you somewhere else instead and just completely not listen to you.
So what if the men that they're not used to seeing something like that? They didn't grow up like that, so they don't know. But how would they kind of form that, relationship on dating and making that a lifestyle? When you get to know someone, you should court them and take them out, get to know them, not, you don't have to sit here and buy bags or whatever, but show your interest, show that you like somebody. I think that's what a lot of women are dealing with now, because a lot of men will say they're interested in us, but they're not showing that interest. And it's not always monetary, it's not always material things, it's just genuinely showing you're interested in someone, sparking a conversation, not just always living in the phone and texting each other day in and day out. Actually calling someone, having a normal conversation, or meeting up with someone. Doesn't even have to be a formal date. It can just be, an impromptu hangout and just get to know someone. But it's I just feel it's just, in this generation now, it's just so hard. People don't want to work on getting into a relationship. Like, there's so much you have to do before you enter a relationship, and no one wants to do that.
When men cheat on their girlfriends, what do they need to be focusing on?
You said men cheat?
Because that's what I was referencing. When women stay in relationships with men who are unfaithful, uncommitted, not serious. So in those situations, you said that women need to focus more on themselves, which is also true. But I do think that there are things that men can take away from that as well, as far as like being faithful, not entering relationships they're not ready for, not committing to people when they're not ready for commitment,
Yeah,
focusing on themselves in that moment.
Yeah. I mean,
Who do you think can learn more from that? You know? Because a woman would focus on herself if she was single. The problem is, y'all men, y'all pursue women, put them in relationships that y'all aren't ready to have. How is one supposed to focus on herself when she's in a relationship? As women being nurturers, we want to focus on them, we want to build them up.
Okay, but I always say that men need to focus on their bag. So I'm not saying it's just women. I think men need to focus on certain things, and women need to focus on certain things.
So men focus on their bag, and women focus on themselves.
Exactly.
Dudes who we are quote unquote saying are the good guys who don't let them get played, like sometimes you give them a chance and they try to play you like you're not the catch. Like, let's be realistic here. Sometimes you will give somebody a chance who doesn't necessarily meet all your standards, who might not be as handsome as you like them to be or make as much money as you want them to. And all of a sudden they try to play you because they get a little confidence from that.
Right.
And the problem with that is just like, no, like, let's humble ourselves a little bit and be glad that somebody's trying to fuck with you, regardless of how much money you make or how you look in that aspect. But I feel like people always want to see if the grass is greener. And I feel like to me, that's really what the main problem is in 2021. Outside of it being men and women, people always are looking for better. And it's just like, why can't you be good where you are if it's already good enough? People are always looking for the next best thing, and it's just like, why is what you have not good enough at this moment?
Well, I think the reason it's not good enough is because in this social media era, everybody's constantly aware of what their options are or what they presume their options to be.
So do you feel like social media is a downfall of relationships?
I wouldn't say it's the main reason. I would say like it's just like the money is the root of all evil. It's not. Money is just paper. It's it's point something pounds or whatever the case may be. It's a piece of paper, but it's what people would do for it that's evil. And I feel like social media is the same way. Most people, right, they are genuinely, I would say, good people. Most people I would say are genuinely good people, but attention corrupts. Attention is the most addictive drug in the universe.
Why can't we go based off potential and opportunity?
You can go based off of potential and opportunity, but the problem is y'all not going off of potential and opportunity. Y'all going off of men that are already successful. That's the problem.
And there's nothing wrong with that. You have to look at the age that we're dating at this point. There are people becoming more successful younger and younger. We're not talking about these people that are becoming successful in their 50s and 60s. People are becoming millionaires in their young 20s.
That's Instagram. That's the difference in perspective. Men don't reach financial potential, the peak of their financial potential, until about 55 to 65 years old.
That's not always true, though.
It's not always true, but see, now we go into the exceptions.
But you don't know who I date. What if I date the exception?
We go into the exceptions.
What if I date the exception?
But you don't, because if you was dating the exceptions, you would still be with them.
Who says I'm not with him?
Okay, maybe that's fair.
You didn't even ask me what my relationship status was.
Yeah.
I could be with the exception.
I'm going to send a shot to the males, but it's going to come back around. So part of it is because men are not honest from the beginning. And men should just say, I only want physical. I only want sex. Like, I'm not really trying to hang out with you like that. I just, nothing serious. I just want to hang out, have a good time. I got 10 things on my mind that I'm doing on a daily. And a relationship right now is honestly not the best suit for me. Right now, I'm just trying to have a good time. You could be an amazing person, you know what I'm saying? But, he just want to have a good time. He's not trying to have a relationship. And men will lie about that. Mm-hmm. But I think also, knowing that, I think y'all should see right through those signs sometimes, especially if he's not, being consistent with you. Yeah, he may say he wants something or, whatever, but his actions are going to speak for that. Mm-hmm. And I feel like a lot of times women will, just bypass those red flags because it could be somebody that she's interested in. Because if it was a normal guy approaching you and doing those same things, you would cut him off immediately, right? But if it's a guy that you're attracted to and that you're into, you kind of going to give him a little pass. Well, maybe he might be busy. Maybe those rules are typically different.
Now that I'm getting older, new. Like,
I agree. For sure. As you get older, you definitely get better with that.
Not everyone can get a pass, and no one really should get passes. Like, first impression is the best impression. So, I have to disagree there. But I get what you're saying.
We have two very different views of relationships, and that's very clear. Like, women in a relationship we're thinking marriage. we're thinking, okay, how can I build this person up? We're thinking, okay, what can I bring? In fact, the whole time we're like in overdrive. We're okay, let me show this nigga I can cook. Okay, let me show nigga, trying to like really flex. But I feel like men is like, to y'all, it's like, okay, let me show her that, okay, I can make money, I can bring bread. But as far as like all that other stuff, I don't think y'all are really connected into what women are actually looking for in a relationship. Because I'll be honest, like, even if you cheat, I'm not gonna lie, honesty goes a long way. So like, if you come and be like, you know what, I'm really having issues with staying faithful to you. Like, I'm like looking at girls and things that like, I feel like most women will receive that more than you going out and hearing that from another friend. Like, honesty goes such a long way. All the other stuff, I feel like men don't really understand that, or even tap into that. Or even when they do understand that, they use that as a weapon. Like, to the point where they'll be like, oh, I was honest with you. Why are you mad at me? It's like, no, honesty does not give you a get out of jail free card, where it's like you can use that honesty to get out of the things that you do. But it does give you more leverage as far as working through it, instead of like your girl bouncing on you. People go into relationships with a 1 foot in, 1 foot out type of mindset, because I'm constantly aware of what. As a matter of fact, most people go into the relationship like, I'm doing you the favor. I cut my roster for you. And I feel like that's like, it starts wrong. The foundation's wrong. Mm-hmm. So now when we're going, anything I don't like or anything that may be a bit left, I have zero grace for that. I have zero patience for that. Why? Because in my DMs currently, there are 20 women that are willing to do whatever I ask them to. Now again, that's why I say presume, because if you go actually get with the woman, she'll tend to end up like the woman you already with as far as complacency. But that's the other. The perception of what your options are jades people, and it creates a 1 foot in, 1 foot out mentality. I think men and women suffer for that, if we're gonna be honest.
I don't know.
Matter of fact, like women more so than men. And I'm gonna tell you why, but why? Go ahead, continue.
I disagree with that though, because I feel like more so on the behalf of men have 1 foot in and 1 foot out. For women, I feel like when they're dating and they decide to get serious with somebody, obviously you cut off people along the way. But I feel like for men, they're more of the ones who, anybody can give you attention as a woman. Right. That doesn't mean I'm interested in you. Anybody can slide into somebody's DM. That doesn't mean I'm trying to fuck with them. But for men, if anybody shows them any type of attention, they're ready to risk it all. And it could be somebody who's not attractive, somebody who don't have a career, somebody who doesn't have a degree, all kinds of things. So to me, I feel like it's men who are mostly 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Like, as soon as somebody gives them attention, they're ready to test the waters and see if the grass is greener. But it's like, if you already have somebody who checks every box, why are you still looking? See, that right there is like, you was doing good until you said checks every box. That's why I feel like we kind of go, amiss. And what I mean by that is, your idea of checking every box is typically your idea of checking every box, not necessarily that man's, if we're going to be honest, right? There are women out here that are in relationships or whatever, and it's like, okay, I do everything for my man. I do this, I do that, I do this, I do that. But if you sit down and ask, okay, yeah, you do that, and you may feel like that's great for you to do for him, but what does he actually want? Mm-hmm. Right? So I feel like that kind of plays a role in men going out and chasing this quote-unquote 20%. Okay, what I'm basically getting at is women are looking for the wrong... Name me one good king, one good conqueror that had one woman. LeBron. You think LeBron got one? I'm an athlete. I'm an ex-professional athlete. Come on, let's keep it a buck. You think LeBron ain't... And I'm not even going, and you can't even count Martin Luther King because he was sleeping around. He was. Right, so what we talking about? Any good man that has already been established? Come on, let's just keep it a buck. I'm just saying, it's like, a clean image. No, y'all can't say that they did something wrong when they haven't been caught. Look at Bill Gates, the richest man in the world. Jeff Bezos, richest man in the world. Bill Gates never cheated on his wife. Any man that conquers, any man that has resources already is not going to be solidified with one woman, and a lot of women aren't. That's actually not true. A lot of like they're doing this later on in life. You have to look at when they're doing this. They're not doing this at the start of their career. They're doing this whenever they're billionaires. So yeah, later on they might do that, but I feel like they are a one-woman man up until they have options. I feel like in the beginning of their times, they didn't have those options, but now that they have money, they have options. And unfortunately, when you have a whole bunch of options at your disposal and you're not solidified in who you are, you might go astray. And is that not women in 2021? No, that's men. Women don't have options by and large? Men have way too many options. Didn't we just discuss that if you text everybody in your phone right now, you said 100% success rate would sleep with you. That's not the case for average men. Do you know that 30% of men will be virgins by the age of 30? Will have never touched a woman.
That means that women have the selective choice of who they mate with. So you have the responsibility of who you allow in your body.
All that sounds good, but like if a man really is not putting in effort, then why would we want to continue to talking to that kind of man? Not saying you're that kind of man. I'm just saying, why would we want to continue talking to a man and not focus on ourselves and work on ourselves and like, you know, we start getting money because, I mean, y'all get mad because now we're getting money, but I mean.
We're not getting mad.
Are you sure?
Yeah, we're not getting mad.
You're not?
No.
Then how come?
If anything, I want you to have money. Let's bring two incomes is better than one in the household.
But why do men have an issue with that?
Because y'all try to use that as a weapon in a relationship a lot of times. And
or do y'all use that as a weapon because you think, oh, we're getting money, so now we feel like we're ahead of you in the house, right?
No, it's a natural thing.
But if you're securing yourself, then that shouldn't even, to me, that shouldn't exist.
Okay, that's 100% true.
Okay.
But use for example, maybe not you, but let's say you were making $150,000 a year, and we talk about this normal man. He makes $40,000 a year. He's great, everything that you want him to be. He's handsome, he's smart, he's loving, he rubs your feet, he can cook, he does all these good things. If y'all get into an argument, eventually it's going to come up about how much money he makes and how you're carrying the load well, first off, you probably wouldn't, most women not going to date a man like that anyway if they're making that much more money. Yeah. So, but if it was the reverse, a man doesn't care because he's just trying to come home to a peaceful household. He's just trying to chill, relax, have some kids, and grow old and build a legacy. And women don't really take that into account when they're dating.
The blame should go on men and women. You know, I think that if the men was doing their part, if they was focused on their bag, on their purpose, and showing that they do have leadership qualities, I think that they would get better candidates. And then also upon the women's sake, I feel as though that the women need to focus more on them, not having so much masculine energy, not being so aggressive, understanding how to rest in their femininity.
So what is masculine energy? Because you've said it's like, I've heard y'all throw this word around, and honestly, if I got in here and started talking about feminine energy, y'all would start labeling me some kind of way. So what is masculine energy? I want like, can we delve into that?
Yeah, that's something that's great, and we see it in the space all the time. We see that whenever we have a conversation, when a woman begins to start over talking.
That's masculine energy?
It could be considered masculine. It's aggressive, right?
A woman over talking is aggressive?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I consider it being aggressive. Yeah.
So if a man over talks, it's not aggressive. So aggression is dependent on a gender?
No.
Okay, but in this case.
But what I'm saying is that when you think of men, you think of like roar,
toxic masculinity.
No, that's not such thing.
There's no such thing as toxic masculinity? No such thing as toxic masculinity,
no.
Okay.
So when you think of men, you gonna let me finish, or you gonna keep over talking me?
I was clarifying you.
Okay.
If you want
so when you think of men, you think of that roar, that bark.
Okay.
So whenever you having a conversation and you see that woman barking like that, what does it look like to you?
To me or to you?
No, to you. I'm asking you, what does it look like to you?
To me, I feel like it's a conversation. But I feel like some men are easily
You feel like that's a conversation.
I feel like that's where toxic masculinity.
When you hear a woman barking like that, raising her voice. We just seen it, about 10, 15 minutes ago? We just seen it right over here, right? When a woman started getting all loud and she started doing all this or something like that. What is that to you?
To you, that's masculine energy?
I'm asking you, what is that to you?
It's not
masculine. You can't ask a question with a question.
It's not masculine energy to me.
Okay, what is it? I'm asking you, what is it?
It's a woman getting passionate about her conversation.
Passionate. Okay, so you masking it as passionate.
I'm masking it as passionate?
Yeah.
But I can say you're masking it as masculinity. When you date people, like, I can feel like all day long, like, what I'm showing you feels like, do I like you? But I feel like sometimes you have to have that conversation. Like, you can be dating somebody, think you're showing them that you like them, you fuck with them, that they feel appreciated. But I feel like, what's wrong with asking, like, hey, like, we're vibing. Do you feel like I like you? Like, do my actions show this? Like, what do I need to do more? And I feel like sometimes if you don't ask that, then like you said, in my opinion, I'm gonna ask that. So I'm gonna know. Am I checking off all the boxes?
Okay, so stop.
Do that he wants.
Right, so stop right there.
Okay.
That's where I was going, and I'm glad you brought that up. So do you feel like most women take criticism well?
No.
Do you feel like there's a safe space for men to actually communicate what we don't like in a relationship?
I feel like if a woman brings it to you, then that's a safe place to bring it up.
I would highly disagree. Okay, so
if I bring it up, I'm going to bring it up. I'm going to ask. And I feel like it's a safe place. I'm not going to bring it up if I'm not willing to hear what you have to say. I feel like when a man brings it up to a woman and she's not in that place to hear it, then she might not be ready to receive the criticism. Right. But if I bring it up to you, then why can't we have a conversation about it?
And again, I want to salute to you for being one of 7 women on this earth. But what I'm saying is that most women, right, don't take criticism real, right? So even if she asks you something, let's say, you know what, are you making me happy? And I look at you and say, no. You're not doing this. I feel like your cooking is not that good. I feel like I'm not getting sex as frequently as I would like or as frequently as you advertised when we were in the dating stage. I feel like you are not that attentive to me and things that you don't benefit from. I feel like, XYZ, a man get to laying that shit out to most women. If we gonna be honest, she gonna, like, all she heard is what I'm not doing. And typically how that goes is it gets flipped immediately. Oh yeah, well, when you do this, or what you doing, instead of actually taking the criticism that a man's giving you, going back to work on it and implementing it into the relationship like men have to do. So that's why I feel like the disconnect is women talk like it's very easy for this man to just communicate what you're not doing and I'll go fix it. That's not the case in most situations. Now shout out to you and the other 6 women on earth. But what I'm saying is typically it don't go that way.
Y'all choosing them based off appearance. That's what I'm trying to get at. Y'all got a layout. All you got to do as a woman is, okay, so for men, our burden to society, our burden to humanity is to build civilizations. That's our job. Whatever you want, I'm going to provide. Men, build the microphone, build the camera, build the house. This is all men. This is what we do. We provide. You going to make the face like we don't do that? This is what we do. We provide for.
Historically, women have started things first a lot of the time, but it's okay. Go ahead. But let's get back to the question.
Okay.
So the question
who's the problem in 2021?
Who is the problem for failed relationships in 2021? And the reason why I feel like it is men, because I feel like men have too many options. I feel like men kind of are at this point, like they find something good, but they're never satisfied. So whenever they feel like something else comes to them that might be a little bit better, unfortunately, they hop on that and they take that next option. So
when I just said the statistic that 30% of men will be virgins, that didn't do anything. That didn't prove nothing. That didn't show to you that men don't, by and large, have the majority of the options. Men get with what they can get. Women get to choose who they want when it comes to sexual opportunity.
I feel like virgins could be not shit too. So no.
So everybody in your phone that you get to choose from, those are all men that are in your plethora of people you can be involved with. Now it's up for you to decide whether those men are good candidates for you to be involved with. Now that's your responsibility as a woman. Like I said, a man's responsibility is to build civilizations and societies. A woman's responsibility is to bring forth the next generation of society builders. That's your job.
No. I feel like I have to disagree.
Income matters to women when dating.
I mean, security matters. I mean, I know a woman wants to enter in a disaster, okay? Let's just be honest. The same
of course,
for a man.
Nobody does, yeah.
Okay, so yes, security is going to be high on the list because a woman, everyone knows the biggest reason why a lot of people get divorced is because of what? Money. Let's just be real. So security is high.
When a man loses his job and down his luck and then she leaves him, you know what I'm saying?
But a woman
she don't
can lose
stick
her
by
job
his side.
too. I mean, okay, y'all already put that energy out there. Don't do that. Not every
But
woman,
I ain't lying.
But not every woman's gonna leave a man when he's down and out. Majority of us, sometimes stupid, stay and just get y'all back up and then y'all leave us for the next one. You know what I'm saying? But not every woman's just gonna leave you down and out. Like, let's just be honest. We're nurturers, so we're not about to sit here and watch our man struggle and really not do nothing behind it. You think a lot of women are doing that, just leaving men down and out. A lot of women.
70%
or a certain type of
women are filing for divorce, and the majority of it is either financial or infidelity.
Okay. I mean, 2 things that matter. Infidelity. Why would I want a husband that spreads his body with the whole neighborhood?
We were talking about income.
I'm just saying, but you said infidelity and money. So
I was just saying, but those are the top 2, yeah.
Okay. But why so you're saying women divorce, but I'm just asking you, why would a woman, would you as a woman, would you want to stay with a man that is sleeping with other women repeatedly? Like, y'all have conversations, y'all gone to counseling, she just can't shake the itch. So what do you do then?
Absolutely not. But a lot of times that man is stepping out because you're not providing something.
Can you please? Okay. I need men to really hop off the gas with that.
I'm telling you how the majority of people view it.
You speak for the majority?
I don't speak. Well, it's what I see.
Okay.
So, that's how I'm gathering like my data off of what I see, what people are saying, what we constantly hear about. That's how we come to conclusions, right?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not here to argue with you because your opinion is your opinion.
Right, yeah.
I'm allowed to disagree though. And I do disagree.
Why?
I'm not gonna lie. I really do disagree.
Okay, why do you disagree?
I feel like your view of masculinity is very fragile because if you think about it that way, right? So if you have a man who does not have those characteristics, say he's not a yeller, he doesn't speak up, he doesn't overtalk people, then he's not masculine?
No, I think he needs to speak up a little bit more.
You think he needs to speak up anymore?
I think he needs to speak up a little bit more.
In order to be masculine?
I won't say masculine. I just think that he needs to be able to speak his mind, stand on his square, be able to express himself, be able to command the control of the room.
But you can do that without speaking up loudly.
You just say he was quiet. What you say?
I mean, you're allowed to be quiet. You can still be quiet and still get your point across.
But he has to be vocal. He has to be vocal.
But you're labeling masculinity as somebody speaking in a loud tone, and you said like pounding their fists against their hands.
I said when a woman does that. I'm not talking about a man.
No, we're talking about masculinity in general. You're saying in order for a woman...
You asked me about a woman. I left it at the woman, so now you're going back to a man. So are we going to talk about a woman masculinity or a man's masculinity? Which one you want to talk about? Because there's a... Because there's a difference. When I say a woman's being masculine, she's displaying those traits.
So let me tell you how a definition works, right? When you define a word, and someone else has to embody the characteristics of that word in order to display those characteristics. So if you're saying that a woman is acting masculine, you can't say that man does not inhibit those traits. Because if a man doesn't inhibit the traits of masculinity, then what makes it masculine?
Men are going to say, oh, everything is cool. They're not going to be honest. They're not going to want to bring it up.
That's true. But why do you feel like that is?
Men don't like confrontation. They'd rather just settle in that moment than be honest. Men like to lie. Men will not tell you how they feel. A man will stay with you and be wanting to leave you the whole entire time versus just speaking up and saying, I don't want to be with you. And that's really the problem. Men don't know how to speak up.
Well, the wild part is that, right, is that men actually care about your feelings, right? So when he's trying to, quote unquote, stay in this, we do.
Do you care about my feelings? If you don't like me, leave. What the fuck you would say with me for? I could be moving on to the next person.
Okay, just question. I'm curious. Do you feel like, say for instance, well, not me and you, because you wanted the 7 women on earth. But if we just take a random woman, right? Me and her are in a 10-year relationship. I come to her and I say, look, I'm not happy in this relationship.
Y'all just boyfriend and girlfriend?
I'm about to go. No. Or married. Regardless.
It would have to be married.
Okay, we are
10 years, it would have to be married.
We are in a very serious relationship. Married. Okay, let's use married. Mm-hmm. Very serious relationship. And then one day I come to you and I say, look, man, I'm just not happy in this situation. I think I want to go pursue other things. I want you to go pursue somebody that will kind of better fit you, whatever the case may be. If 10 women are in that scenario, how many of those 10 are just going to say, okay, I respect that. Go your way. I'll go mine. How many out of 10 would you say will say that?
None of them are going to respect that because why did you not speak to me until you got to that point? Why would you wait until you want us to go see other people? Why would you not address me that something is wrong, you're not happy a long time ago where we could have fixed it? You're at the point now where you're ready to end the 10-year relationship to go pursue something else. You want me to pursue something else. And for all I know, I'm happy and you're not happy. Why would you wait until you get to that point? That's the problem. People don't know how to communicate. If you're not happy, bring it up as soon as you can.
Right.
And people be scared to do that because they don't know what's going to happen. But it's just like, bro, like, I'd rather you tell me you're unhappy year 1 than wait till year 10. At the end of the day, because I feel like it's very easier for men to move on than it is for women. If you've dated somebody for 10 years, the dating world moves kind of fast. And for women, I feel like it's a lot harder to date than it is for men. So why would you wait 10 years in to tell me, oh, I feel like we should go our separate ways?
I feel like women build families. Women build households. Women build homes. So I'm going to have to disagree with you there.
How can you say that women build these things and you say that men are responsible for the failings of relationships,
Yes.
but the things that you listed that women are bringing to the table in relationships aren't things that men want in relationships?
Maybe not what you want, but I feel like that's what the typical man wants.
If I can provide for my family and my kids and I make enough money to do that by myself, why do I care about how much money you bring to the table when you want me to pay all the bills anyway? So when I ask you what you bring to the table,
men are paying all the bills nowadays.
When I ask you
men are asking women to split checks. Women go to dinner and men are asking to go Dutch.
That's because you asked for equality.
Men are not paying bills.
If you ask for equality, we give you what you want. You ask for society, we give you what you want.
Because you're broke and because we can provide better.
Oh, is that what it is? Because last time I checked, women don't make as much as men on average. Last time I checked, there's a lot of women that think they boss babes and boss B words walking around here that's solo and angry and sad.
See, I don't like that. I don't like that. So you're telling me just because she's a boss, she has to be solo, she has to be bitter, she has to be by herself? I have to disagree because I feel like whenever men want to be a boss, whenever men want to be this like mogul, women praise them. But whenever it comes to black men and whenever it comes to black independent women, y'all automatically consider us bitter because we're successful, and that's not fair.
You're telling me because your woman is not being freaky at the moment, that means that just gives you room to go step out on whatever you got going on?
Lil Duval.
Don't quote him.
Lil Duval said this shit best, and it's funny as hell. But if you drain a man balls, he won't have any way to cheat. Because he doesn't have the energy to. His shit will not get up because you taking care of business at home.
But the thing is, so many things go on in a relationship. Like, at the end of the day, someone could be struggling at work and they're having issues. Like, they don't want to sleep with stuff. Or maybe are going through a financial time. Like, sex is not a number one on my mind. Like, why can't y'all have the maturity to understand the situation and, move accordingly?
Men definitely have that.
Do you? Because you just told me that a lot of men, if you don't drain the balls, then he gonna have a reason to cheat. But it's like...
It was a little extreme, but it's very true what I'm saying, because that's we've been as men, we've heard that since we were kids. Like,
but
the sex, the moment you get in a relationship, it's 3-6 months later, it's gonna go down. When you get married, it's gonna go down even more. Like, all men know that.
But the thing is, sex is important
to men, and y'all don't care.
But it should not control the relationship.
It's not. But part of it is.
It sounds like it.
No, it's part of it is affection. Women are not as affectionate all the time either. Sometimes men just want to kick it, and it ain't just always sex. Intimacy is more than sex, right?
You're saying women are not affectionate, but some men you can't even walk in a room and kiss them and they receive it well. But we're not affectionate.
You shouldn't be in relationships with men like that. If you're my
husband, why can't I kiss you in public?
No, I'm saying you shouldn't be with a man who doesn't want to let you kiss you in public.
But I'm just answering your statement where you said we're not affectionate, but we actually are, but y'all don't receive it well.
But you just said y'all be tired, y'all be having this going on, you can long hours from work, you got to put the baby to sleep.
We got to put the baby to sleep. And see, that's the thing.
Men do it too.
But that's the problem.
Men do it too. We're gonna stop that.
Okay, I get it. We grew up in these, with these gender roles, right? But in actuality, when you're with someone, y'all work together.
Correct.
Just because I have a baby does not mean now I have to be like suffering and I'm feeling like I just had a baby and my husband's just watching me suffer. No, we both carry the load. We share the load, actually.
I agree.
So when you're saying sometimes you're tired, no, I shouldn't feel. If you notice that, then that's when you step in and show some affection and, oh, hey, babe, let me take care of this. I know you're tired today. Go rest. Let me take care of this. I'll clean this kitchen. I'll do all this stuff and I'll put the baby to sleep.
You don't think
that's
men
showing
do that?
affection. No. Some men be watching their woman struggle and really just be like, man, I didn't know.
If you're saying that if a man does it, it's not masculine, then why is it when a woman does it, it's masculine?
What I'm saying is that men are aggressive. Men are aggressive.
Men are aggressive.
Men at the top, men like to conquer.
So men have to be aggressive in order to be masculine.
Men like to be dominant. I'm just saying that it shows a strong level of masculinity.
Okay. So you know what? And we had this conversation earlier. I'm not sure if we had it in front of the camera or not, but when I said that masculinity, that toxic masculinity, or the idea of that women have to be masculine, I said before that idea and that pressure comes from men. Because as he's describing masculinity to me, I'm disagreeing. I do not feel like a man has to overtalk or be loud or pound his fist.
I didn't say overtalk.
Let me finish my point.
I didn't say overtalk.
Even though I know overtalking to you is masculinity, let me finish my point. Like I said earlier, I feel like men put that pressure on themselves to display that masculine energy. I do not feel like you need to overtalk and do all stuff to be masculine. I feel like when you do that, you may be passionate, but I do not think that is a display of masculine energy. Just the same way I wouldn't say, like, we may joke around and be like, oh, nigga be smoking a hookah like a bad bitch, that's feminine energy. I don't really feel like that's feminine energy. You know what I mean? So I feel like, to me, masculine energy is not getting loud in a room. Because I feel like if I see a man getting loud in a room, I'm not gonna say, oh my gosh, I don't get that. And if that's y'all's idea of masculinity, then I feel like maybe that is the root of the problem. Maybe that is why relationships are failing, because y'all have like this helter-skelter view of what you think women want, what you think women think that men are. Because you can be cool and chill. You can be the quietest in the room, and that does not make you not a tough guy. That does not make you not a good person. That doesn't make you not a man's man. No, I don't think you don't have to raise your voice to be a man.
I think it typically goes like this, right? Let's just use sex, for example. Right, when you're dating a woman, or when you first start dating a woman, right, most women are giving up that sex at a very rapid pace, very frequent pace in the quote-unquote honeymoon stage, whatever the case may be, advertising that this is what this man is going to get if we get into a serious relationship. And then typically throughout the relationship, quote-unquote, life happens. So that frequency drops. And typically how a man will go about that, he'll say, hey, baby, look, man, I don't feel like we're having sex. Like, what's going on? Man going to try to inquire and find out, like, why is this change happening? right? And a woman, again, women don't take criticism well, so she gonna probably flip it. Well, you're not romantic enough, whatever the case may be, or whatever. So he'll be like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna try to use that. I'm gonna try to implement that. You say I'm not romantic enough. All right, cool. He gonna go plan a trip, take you to your favorite restaurant, get you a massage, and the sex will pick up for about a week, 2, max. And then it'll go back to what the mean is, which is what I didn't agree with, right? So, like, men communicate it, but women don't make permanent fixes to what we actually communicate.
What we don't have anymore is family, right? And that's because the women, what we want from women, they're not providing to us. We don't have any stability in our household. When you look at the Martin Luther King movement, when you look at the Malcolm X movement, when you look at Black Wall Street, all of that was built by black families, not by black women being independent women, looking for the highest guy on the totem pole that they can get. Because you understand that when men have opportunity, like you said, they largely do not settle down with one woman. So why are women looking for men that are the most handsome and tallest guy that got all the money, when that's not the guy that's statistically speaking going to stick with you, and you know that because you just said it?
So to go back to your point, the reason why we don't have families is because black men are not present. Let's take a plethora of examples. Let's look at Tristan Thompson. Tristan has a 3rd baby mama, okay? And he was willingly sleeping with this woman unprotected, nutting in her, okay?
Right.
He knew what the outcome could be.
Right.
But as soon as she got pregnant, he said, well, I'm not going to be present. So why are you even having the baby? So why are you having unprotected sex with a woman when you don't even plan on being present for a possible baby that could happen?
Okay, listen to
Let's
this,
take Future.
Hit me out. Okay, yeah, go ahead. Talk
Let's
Future.
take Future.
Talk Future.
10, he has like, what, 10 children?
10 of them.
10.
God.
NBA young boy.
What? 10 of them. All of them girls. So you have one sexually irresponsible man, but you have 7 sexually irresponsible women. Or in Future's case, you said 10, 9 sexually irresponsible women. Because why would you
blaming the woman?
Listen to this. If you're a woman, why are you laying down with the man that you know that does not take care of his children?
Clear as day, a woman looks unhappy, and men think just because you're giving them money, they're happy.
And in some of those cases, women need to be more vocal about those needs. And if she is vocal and he doesn't change, she needs to leave early. And not drag this shit on for 2-3 more years, having another kid, thinking that's gonna help, or wait for him to marry you, or wait for him to, make him your fiance. Like a lot of times those situations be avoidable, but people stay in it because they try to make it work.
This is my thing.
That's why men leave early. Men leave early? Women think men don't care. We really do.
Leave early?
We just know our worth.
Y'all do.
Yes, absolutely.
Or y'all just have a whole bunch. Okay. The reason why it's so easy for y'all to leave, because you have a lot of options, women out there.
That's not true. No. That's not true.
How is that not true, though?
We talking about regular guys.
Regular guys.
Men.
Men.
Okay. If you
have a lot of options.
If you say men, you have to say average, because that's half of men.
No.
You can't.
All y'all have a lot of options.
You cannot say men and then just say most of them are in an elite category. No.
Okay. I don't know where you're at in dating, but if you're single right now, how many women are you talking to right now? Honest.
1.
Because you're dating. You're not.
No, 1, because women are a headache, and I just rather deal with 1 instead of dealing with 10.
And not okay. There.
I never said that a man has to raise his voice.
But
what I said was that, are you gonna let me finish?
I will.
Okay, you gonna give me grace?
See, we don't give grace.
Is that okay?
But I'll let you finish.
Okay. As I was saying, I was speaking about when women do it, okay? Men don't like it. Men do not like it. But you're sitting here making an excuse as to why we have to accept it. That's all you did.
I made an excuse. You can't even define masculinity. You're making masculinity like a toss-up between who does it. That's not even how it works. That's not how a definition works. When you have a definition, it has to have one definition. It can't be when a female does it, it's masculine. But if a man does it, it's not masculine. So why is it masculine? Who does? Honestly, we're going to agree to disagree on that.
You're going after status symbols. You're going after men that you find that are successful, that already have the clout. You know that they're not going to stick to you. You already said that. And then when you get left in the dust, you cry on social media like you didn't know it was going to happen. You knew what you came for.
Y'all know how men are. Men can go into a relationship. They might have a bad history. They might have a bad rap. But when you go into the relationship, they might be telling you sweet nothings. Okay? Next thing you know, you think you're different.
Uh-oh.
Okay? So you think you're different and you feel like the story might play out differently for you. So how are you going to blame the woman when it's the man that has the children? This woman is coming in no kids, no history. The man has all the history, and you're telling me you want to blame the woman?
I blame the woman because she's dealing with a man she knows number one, because she's dealing with a man that she knows is inconsistent. Number two, because she has birth control. She has Plan Bs. She has...
And men can't.
Hold on. No, I got you. Okay, I got you.
Men can't just be responsible.
I got you. She has birth control, Plan Bs. She has condoms. Worst case scenario, she has reproductive rights. When a man sleeps with a woman and that child or that what it is, I ain't trying to for the algorithm. When it goes inside of her, that's up to her. He is 100% responsible. The government will even hold him responsible. A woman can put a child up for adoption and have no connection to that child whatsoever. Men have less reproductive rights than women. Now, we can talk about condoms, but if we just keeping it a buck, these women decided to lay down with men that they knew were inconsistent, and that's their problem, and that's the problem at large. A lot of women are deciding to sleep with men that they know are inconsistent, and they don't care.
How many times are we obligated to reiterate the same thing before we actually sit you down and say, look, I'm not happy
But my
here?
thing is, like, you'd rather not try to make work with somebody who you already are locked in with, have love with, have years of time with, versus just leaving. Because who's to say you're not going to find somebody else and you're not going to fall into that same situation?
No.
So it's like, why would you not want to try to make it work and figure it out?
No, me bringing up what my grievances are is trying to make it work. What I'm saying is, how many times do I have
who's
to
to say
reiterate?
the first time you bring it up, it's supposed to be fixed immediately? That's not how life works in all situations, though.
Right, that's why I'm asking you.
You have to have grace.
That's why I'm at grace. That's a great word. When you say grace, how many times should I have to reiterate it before I sit you down and say, look, it's not working, I'm going my own way?
I feel like 3 is a good number.
3.
3. I feel like 3.
I would honestly say most men bring up their grievances 3 times or more before they just do something wild.
So you said that women have condoms. So why is it whenever a man tries to go in raw, you tell him no, you're like, where's the condom at? Oh, I don't have condoms. But if the woman was to pull a condom out, would you not feel like, why she have condoms?
No, I feel like, okay, she being responsible at least. Because what are we doing? If I'm not willing to have a child and I understand me as a man, me being a responsible man, this is what you should be looking for. If you're looking for a man that's going to question you on that, you shouldn't even be in that situation no way.
But why are you trying to go in raw in the first place?
But why are you dealing with a man that you don't know in the first place?
How do you think I don't know him? Just because, what? How?
When you lay down with a man and you ain't even talked about sex before you having sex, what are you doing having sex?
Why do you have to talk about sex before you have sex? Why can't it just be spontaneous?
Because if you can't have a conversation about something that you're uncomfortable with, why are you doing it?
Who's saying that you're uncomfortable?
If you're doing something that could dictate the entire direction of your life,
yes,
and you think that you should be as irresponsible as to not even have a conversation as to whether you should use protection before you do it as a woman.
So you're telling me you never had sex unprotected?
I'm telling you, I got a wife, so I do it how I shoot the club up, baby. But that's me.
A lot of these issues are women's problems. Men are at fault, some, it's to some degree, but women carry a good about 70% of the problems. And part of it is men cannot communicate. Men don't feel that they have a safe space. Women are in a completely different position than they were, 50 years ago. So it's a different role for them. And they try to take on this masculine type role, not on purpose, but they take on this masculine type role and this boss type role when a man doesn't want no boss type role. We want you to be a wife. We want you to be a nurturer. We want you to listen to us. Like, that's the type of things that men look for. And y'all think we want PhDs and masters and all this good stuff when that's cool and it's great to have. But we don't look at that when we're trying to build a household. We trying to get some extra, like, if we know we're gonna build a household, we need you to come in, pick out the furniture, pick out the dregs, pick up, hang stuff on the wall, do the things that you are great at. The heavy load part, the heavy lifting, we got that. And if that man can't carry the heavy load, then that's not somebody that you should be with.
For me, all I gotta say is that in 2021, there are not a lot of secure men out there, and that's the problem.
I think the only way that we can bridge a gap between this decrease in successful relationships, I feel like communication goes a long way. Honestly, it really does. And I feel like both sides are scared to communicate. I feel like as women, sometimes we want to communicate, but we're so scared to be labeled as naggers, labeled as complaining, that sometimes we may even communicate a little bit too late. And men, I feel like y'all don't communicate at all. Y'all communicate in the breakup. Like, oh, this and that. And you're just like, that was it. That was an issue? Like, we definitely could have worked through that. Or the whole time, no shade, I feel like Some men just hate women. It's like the stuff y'all complaining about is just like, maybe your soulmate is a man. I feel like you shooting in the wrong field.
We hit on some good points when it comes to the whole dynamic. But the truth of the matter is, and I think we agree now, you can jump around the loop and jump around the holes and circles. You agree with me that men have fewer options?
No.
You don't think that men have fewer options than women?
No. We've never agreed.
You agree with me that men who have a lot of options don't commit to women, generally speaking?
Yes.
Okay. So when you see the situations with Future and all the people you brought up, they're dealing with men that have a lot of options, but they decide to be sexually irresponsible. So when you're dealing with a group of women that worship the men that are part of the problem in a culture, hood dudes,
there is
thugs,
there's black
entertainers.
Man worship. That's very true.
Yeah, no, and it largely goes for thugs and entertainers. Yeah. Nobody wasn't checking for Will Smith before he was Will Smith. Nobody was checking for Jordan Peele before he was Jordan Peele. Okay. These dudes are lames. These dudes are weirdos until they get successful, right? But a guy like Future can have 8 baby mothers and still get 7 women pregnant, or 10 baby mothers, like you said, and after the first one, 9 women will still lay down with him knowing that he is not sexually responsible. That means that there are 9 sexually irresponsible women, 1 sexually irresponsible man. That is the problem. And everybody will point out the man and saying that he is a part of that problem, which he is, but that's only 1 man and 9 women. So why are we not talking about the 9 women that are also a part of that problem?
He's a repeat offender, okay? He's a repetitive offender. So therefore, I feel like he is more irresponsible than these 9 women that you are claiming to be irresponsible.
I think the men have to be more vocal as far as what they want in the beginning. I think if they speak up, then it just saves a lot of the time, the bullshit. I often think men have to stop putting these women on the pedestal and to focus a lot more on themselves. You know, get they shit in order so they can have options. If you got options, then it's a lot of stuff that you wouldn't tolerate.
That's true.
But the fact that a lot of men don't have options, they're just going to keep going to what's available to them right there at that time.
So my point is, to answer this question, I feel like men are the more responsible party for failed relationships in 2021 due to the fact that they're never satisfied. They have too many options. I feel like men do the absolute bare minimum, if that, at this point. So I feel like women, they continue to try and try and try, but it's like men just don't step up to the plate anymore. They just don't. They don't provide. They're not what they're cut out to be. So unfortunately, it's women who are holding these relationships together and they can't hold them together anymore.
I think the problem is a lot of women think providing is abundance nowadays.
No.
Providing, because for me to provide, if I'm living in the middle of America, let's not take Dallas in situation because we are in Dallas, but let's go middle of America. You can live comfortably over $50K, but a lot of women largely are unaccepting of that. A lot of women want more. Right, so you're talking about men are not satisfied with their situations, but it's obviously the women, because the women are the ones dropping out at 70%. These are the women are the ones filing for divorce.
50K is not enough. I'm just
see, there we go. 50K is not enough, right? But it is enough. That's if you want a man that can protect and provide. If you want a man that can provide you abundance, that's when you start going into that group of men.
Why does that have to be abundance? I want a house. I want cars. Like, how is that abundance?
Because a man, if you know anything about finances, you know that a man can have a house with 50K. You know that. But see, women don't even have a concept of the money. Not the house you want.
Not the house I want.
Not the house you want. That's hypergamy. That's you wanting more. And
that's
then when
not
you
hypergamy.
But listen,
if I bring more than 50K,
hear me out though. Hear me out. Let me go finish.
50K.
If you have hypergamy and you want a man that makes more than that, now you get into that group of men that are part of the 10% group. Those men have a lot of options, and we agreed that when men have a lot of options, they don't settle down. Women want these men that make 100K, thinking that it's just sweet and it's normal. Most men, the average wage for a man is 50K. So if you want a man, you got to be okay with 50K. That's where you at. Once you start to become hypergamous, you're going to start to deal with relationship issues. And like you just said, you don't think that he's going to be able to provide a house big enough for you.
That's not fair. So you're telling me just because I want a man, I have to be settled with 50K? That doesn't make any sense.
Okay.
That doesn't make any sense. That's not what I bring to the table. So why do I have to accept that? See what I'm saying? Y'all do the bare minimum, and y'all expect us to just accept it. No.
Men are to blame.
Women are to blame because they confuse men. Women are consistent in what they want. Depends on the age, depends on the circumstance, and then women also false advertise things that they can't maintain in a relationship.
And you feel like men don't do that?
I would say no.
Men definitely cap. Men definitely cap.
What you mean by, you know what, we ain't got time for that. That's going to be on the next episode. But my summary is...
definitely cap. Let's get that established.
My summary is that men are confused as to what women want. Because women are confused as to what women want. And once women find out what they want and actually communicate that and actually allow us the safe space to communicate what our issue is and actually take it and implement it, we're going to keep running into these same problems. Men don't feel like we have a safe space to express ourselves. And that's the main downfall of relationships. And that falls on y'all.
No, I disagree. To wrap this up, men don't want to be men anymore. And I feel like that's what the problem is in 2021.
Cap.
No.